In Pittsburgh, sustainable advancement hinges not only upon the ambition of city government, but also the collective commitment and cooperation of its 300,000 residents. Prioritizing energy policy is paramount for Pittsburgh to reverse the environmental damage caused by its dominant history in the steel industry while also addressing climate change. Fortunately, this realization is evident in all that the City of Pittsburgh's Sustainability and Resilience Planning Division does.
In the Sustainability and Resilience Division, we are a part of the Department of City Planning with the City of Pittsburgh. A lot of our work is climate related. We know the climate change is here. We're working to mitigate our impact on climate change, but at the same time, we need to adapt to what's happening. So we partner with a lot of other departments and divisions to improve city operations, but then we also work externally and kind of on the citywide scale. We're really working to integrate sustainability and resilience and climate action into the planning processes and making sure that as we're planning this city that we hope to build in the future, that climate and sustainability and resilience are key components of those plans.
The S&R division utilizes energy-driven assessments like the American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy, City Clean Energy Scorecard assessments, and reports released by the Carbon Disclosure Project to monitor its climate action. This is because the S&R division relies heavily on energy policy to catalyze climate action in Pittsburgh.
When we look at the breakdown of emissions in Pittsburgh, we have about 80% right now coming from buildings. So it's not to say that we're not focused on transportation policy and stuff like that, because that's still obviously key. But when we talk about just building energy, electricity, and heating, that's a huge portion of the emissions that we're looking at. And a lot of that work is policy driven. Energy policy and having the correct policy frameworks at every level will all be what really drives change, I think, and what really helps us to actually achieve some of these goals.
I became well acquainted with the ACEEE scorecard assessments this summer by contributing to the S&R division's analysis of the energy efficiency of Pittsburgh's internal operations, as well as their comparison to the 99 other United States cities assessed in the 2020 City Clean Energy Scorecard.
So they're a nonprofit organization that does a lot of research and reporting around energy efficiency, specifically within the United States. Primarily, ACEEE is kind of a policy and programs report. Every year they compile information on what cities are doing as far as best practices in the energy space. We look at, are we kind of keeping pace with the other cities, and what are those best practices that are out there that maybe we haven't yet been able to achieve? What are maybe areas of engagement where we could look to encourage better building codes at the state level?
In 2020, Pittsburgh defended its 2019 ranking of 19th out of 100 United States cities, exceeded the median score in all policy areas, and was highlighted for placing 9th overall in the transportation policy sector. Pittsburgh's suggested next steps are to bolster its energy requirements for existing buildings, improve monitoring of its emission reduction goals, and better prioritize equitable conditions in the workplace. The S&R division also relies heavily on the CDP for insight because its reports provide quantitative analyses of energy expending processes.
CDP is the Carbon Disclosure Project, which is a nonprofit organization that looks to track data and information related to climate change and carbon emissions. Where CDP really varies a lot from ACEEE is that it's more data-based. The other difference too is that CDP is an international program, and it also extends beyond cities. It's a good place to go to look at what corporations or other people are doing as well. Climate is obviously a very global issue, so seeing where there's maybe links between different projects or organizations is a really good tool to have.
This summer, I identified uncompleted segments in Pittsburgh's drafted data profile so that the division can glean more comprehensive results from the next CDP report. Aside from the 9 questions recognized as unanswered by the CDP, I identified 166 additional questions in the database for review. Energy policy is an integral component of the S&R division's climate action. The apparent correlation between energy-focused policy and climate action suggests that all city governments should prioritize energy legislation to combat the climate crisis.
As the city of Pittsburgh, we're headed in a really good direction. With ACEEE, that helped to inform the Pittsburgh Climate Action Plan 3.0. And so we've already looked at the climate action plan and checked some of the boxes of things that we said we were going to do. As more people become invested in kind of climate action, so we can use things like CDP or ACEEE to also be adopting those new technologies or adopting those new ideas around how to achieve our climate targets.
Beyond city governments, the work of the S&R division and of other city governments who already participate in reports like the ACEEE and CDP demonstrate that the collective action of local governments has the potential to change the political dynamic of climate action.